Again, they have this history. They're not going to ask him any hard questions. They're not going to ask him any tough questions or point out some contradictions between his policy and what actually is happening in real people's real lives from day to day. They're not going to ask him those questions. That's why Jen Psaki can smugly and confidently say to come on to The View and go on to Howard Stern. That's BS. That's BS.
I want to start off tonight with talking about Biden. And basically how he has not been doing any pressers, not been doing many talking to the press or anything like that. And even the leftist media are starting to talk about this. Recently, of course, his surrogates, his flunkies have to come to his defense, which brings us to Jen Psaki on The View today. So she defended President Biden's irregular press conferences and infrequent interviews today on The View. Take a look here.
But I'm going to start at the optimistic side, is that there are so many choices. And when you're communicating from the White House, I mean, respect for freedom of speech and freedom of the press is important, but you're also really just trying to communicate with the American people.
Duh.
So my view is he should come on The View before he does a press conference. He should, because people want to have real conversations about issues that are happening. I think press conferences are important, but I also think him doing Howard Stern, that's an interview that reached a broader audience of people.
I want to get your thoughts on this, Shelley. I mean, The View, this is where he needs to come on when you're talking about press conferences and things like that.
Yeah. This is what we call pandering at the highest levels. She know darn well coming on The View and Howard Stern does not reach the audience, particularly when you're talking about policy and you need to let people know. They want to know why there's inflation, why gas has gone up, why they have to work 2 and 3 and 4 jobs to make ends maybe barely touch. This is the stuff that he's avoiding. Jen Psaki is full of it, just like all of those women around that table.
Yeah, and not only that, but he has not, you know that if he goes onto The View, he goes onto these places, he's going to get the questions prior to the interview. So this is what we're talking about. There's no pushback. He doesn't answer any tough questions. And if they do seem to be tough, he's been given them prior to the interview. And we saw, what's her name from ESPN came forward and said that. What's the lady's name?
Donna Brazile gave them the questions.
Right, but also
Sage Steele.
Right. Thank you. Yeah, Sage Steele gave him the questions prior to her interview. And it's already always given to him, so he knows what to say. And they've told him what to say.
Right. Well, I mean, like I said, I said Donna Brazile, but Donna Brazile gave the questions to Hillary Clinton during the debate. So that's what she did. But so again, they have this history. They're not going to ask him any hard questions. They're not going to ask him any tough questions or point out some contradictions between his policy and what actually is happening in real people's real lives from day to day. They're not going to ask him those questions. That's why Jen Psaki can smugly and confidently say to come on to The View and go on to Howard Stern. That's BS. That's BS.
So the New York Times reports that in the 100 years since Calvin Coolidge took office, only Richard Nixon and Ronald Reagan held as few news conferences as Biden. And that's huge, especially now since we're in this climate of, everything's video recorded, so you can always stop, as Trump has been doing while he's in the trial. He talks to people off the cuff. Biden has not been doing that, and it's been very vocal and noticeable, I should say.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Remember when during the first election or the first run, remember he was barely visible then because he did everything from his basement bunker, right? So he did a lot of things from there. So that was already at least a prelude to what we have today. He's not going to do more. And let me tell you, I think why. You mentioned the trials with Trump.
Right.
Well, the judge, I think it's Judge Enderon or whatever his name is, he's doing his best to keep Trump out of the media. we don't want to do that. We don't want him in the media, particularly if Biden is not going to be in the media. They don't want Trump to get all of the coverage. So this is, to me, this is planned. It's on purpose. They don't want Trump in the media, and Biden can't get into the media. I give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, because I do believe he is a degenerate octogenarian. And I mean that in the best sense of the word. But he can't get out, but they don't want Trump to come out and take up all of the oxygen in the coverage. So that's what they're going to do.
Yeah. Traveling in Ireland last week, Biden abandoned the decades-old tradition of holding a news conference while abroad. On Thursday, President Gustavo Petro of Colombia met with President Biden, but the two did not hold a news conference together, another practice of his predecessors that Mr. Biden has frequently chosen to skip. So Let me ask you this. So, I mean, it's historic, the lack of press conferences, the lack of interaction with unscripted in forums and journalists. It's historic. He has not taken these interviews. But why haven't his supporters come out more about this? Does he think, especially the black vote, they say he's got the black vote in the bag. Why aren't they requesting more accountability from him regarding this, answering their questions, answering their demands? Why aren't they doing that?
Because he doesn't have to. Why would they? Why would they demand anything from him when he's already proven to them that he is going to do what they want, or that they're in his pocket? Why would they? And certainly they don't want him to come out. They don't want him to fall down. They don't want him to stutter. They don't want him to get the deer in the headlight look. They don't want that. And they don't want Trump to come in. This is why this judge, he's putting all these ridiculous, unconstitutional gag orders on him to keep the quote unquote, the playing field somewhat even. This is all planned. This is all on purpose. This is all plot and ploy. And they are perpetrating a massive fraud on the American people.
Do you think he's going to debate Trump before the election?
I don't. I said that before. I don't think he's going to do it. I hope he does, but I don't think he's going to. I think what they're betting on, I really believe that they're betting on that Trump gets convicted of at least one, and they are certainly hoping that this judge puts Trump in jail for contempt of court and violating this unconstitutional gag order. They are betting all their cards in the opposite direction. I don't think he's going to debate Trump at all.
Yeah, well, it's going to be bad for him, I think, because, of course, he has his base of supporters that are going to vote for him, whether he comes out and, answers questions or not. But there are significant amounts within independents who want to see these two debate, who want a moderator there asking them tough questions, stuff that is not pre-canned, it will be off the cuff, and they want to see who can stand up for the American people and stand up for their causes, for their policies. And so if he doesn't do it, I think it's going to hurt him in the polls. I do.
I think it's going to hurt him, but honestly, I know that the polls say, there's this, this swath of independent voters. I don't even really believe that there are as many independent voters as the polls put out. And let me tell you why. Because we have had 4 years of Trump and we've had almost 4 years of Biden. And honestly, if 98% of the American people don't have their mind made up, if their real life experiences don't testify to where they're going to put their vote, I don't think them debating is going to make one bit of difference.
Oh, all right. Well, we will certainly see. We'll continue to follow this story. Again, I just say I don't understand how, the large portion of Black voters, which is a significant part of the Democrat vote, can sit there and let this man continue to ignore them, ignore their questions, ignore their, their pushback against certain policy issues, and not demand he answer them unscripted and answer these questions for the press. It's unprecedented. And it's sad. It's sad.
He told the large Black audience, if you don't vote for him, you ain't Black. That's all they need.
He doesn't have to do anything to earn the vote. He doesn't have to do anything to earn the vote. And that says a lot. And it's sad that, we the people, you've mentioned this before, if we the people do not push and do not ask for accountability from our elected, from our leaders, from these elected officials, we get what we're going to get.
Yep.
Hello, I'm with the Biden campaign.
Yeah, I voted for Biden last time.
That's fantastic.
Is it? Everything costs more. Food, gas, rent.
Okay, but Biden's helping pay rent for newcomers to America from around the world.
You mean illegal immigrants? I'm struggling to pay my bills, but Biden's paying rent for illegals. They get handouts and I'm paying for it.
But Biden can still count on your vote, right?
Things were better before Biden. I'm voting for Trump.
Make America great again.
Ah, that is real. It is real. They believe that this is what people want to hear. I watched this like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, it's true. Like you said, it's true. We get those calls, what do you call it, the robocalls, or you get the politicians that call and, they'll ask, I say stuff like, are you voting? Yes, I'm voting. Who are you voting for? You voting for Biden? Hell no. I'll say stuff like that. Hell no. I'm voting for Trump and don't call me again.